On the first weekend of October 2025, Helensville held a little heritage festival to celebrate 150 years of the railway in their town. There were various attractions throughout the town, but it may not surprise anyone to know that the ones on which I focused were at the railway station. Incidentally, I'm confused as to why the sign featured pictures of JB 1236 and DM 8012 of all locomotives. As a contribution to the festival, KiwiRail brought 2 of their locomotives and 4 brand new IPA wagons up from Auckland and parked them at the station. The locomotives in question were DC 4260 and DL 9066, who had their side panels open, thus allowing people to see their internal components. In the case of DC 4260, she's powered by a 12-cylinder EMD 645 series prime mover with 1,650 horsepower. As for DL 9066, she is powered by a 20-cylinder MTU prime mover with 3,600 horsepower. Meanwhile, this cursed thing was running around the station car park. For reference, Helensville is around 40 kilometres northwest of Auckland, and the railway running through it is the North Auckland Line. These days, and not counting suburban trains that only go as far as Swanson, the NAL only gets 1 train a day in each direction, 5 days a week. In addition to the Auckland to Whangarei service, there's also the twice-daily L1 shunt from Whangarei to Kauri, the latter being the location of a Fonterra dairy factory. On a personal note, this was only the second time I had ever been to Helensville in my entire life. The first was in November 2019, when we chased train 126 from here all the way to Portland. In those days, DFB locomotives still reigned supreme on the once daily service. It may not surprise anyone to know that I was happy to see my channel's namesake locomotive again, thus creating yet another significant memory involving this thing. The combination of DC 4260 and DL 9066 was quite fitting, since 4260 was present in Mount Maunganui on the 22nd of November 2010, the day when the original 6 DLs arrived on the ship from China. Nearly 15 years later, and only 3 of the original 6 are still in service, namely 9020, 9037 and 9066. Speaking of the original 6, I have a semi-recent video about chasing DL 9020 from KiwiRail to Mount Maunganui. A KiwiRail driver was on hand in Helensville, and he invited visitors to have a look in the cab, but only on 1 locomotive at a time. This wasn't the first time I sat in a DL's cab, and one thing I noticed, apart from the somewhat cramped seat, was the fact that the microwave is now looking rather dated. Meanwhile, there wasn't much more space in the DC's cab. Incidentally, this wasn't the first time I've had a look in DC 4260's cab. If I recall correctly, the first time was at Palmerston North Station in January 2012, when we rode behind 4260 on the Overlander, predecessor to the present-day Northern Explorer, which we'll see at the end of this video. Something I haven't mentioned yet is the section of raised platform at Helensville Station. This was done in 2007, ahead of the launch of a trial commuter service up from Auckland, which started in July 2008. As part of the trial, temporary stations were built in Huapai and Waimoku, but sadly, the Helensville service was cancelled in December 2009, only 18 months after its launch. Suburban trains from Britomart Station continued to run as far as Waitakere until July 2015, when they were cut back to terminate at Swanson. Passenger numbers beyond this station were not high enough to justify modifying Waitakere Tunnel to accommodate the overhead wires. These days, you can still find an old Max regional transport sign at the entrance to Helensville Station's car park. Why the sign is still here is anyone's guess. Meanwhile, there were half-hourly shuttle buses connecting Helensville Station with other attractions in the town. At one point, I spoke to one of the guys from the bus crew, who said that one bus was hired in and the other was their own and originally worked in Tauranga. Indeed, I thought it looked quite familiar. Unfortunately, I stupidly forgot the bus company's name. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Helensville Railway Museum, which is home to an impressive model railway and a small collection of other artefacts. I think the layout is 1:64 scale, but don't quote me on that. In any case, it features models of the classic DA and DG class diesel locomotives. Speaking of the DG, I was lucky to see the real thing at the Ferrymead Railway in October 2023, and even got to have a look in the cab and engine room with some of my mates in the railfan community. To my surprise, there was even a table with some Lego items on it, including the 2018-era Hogwarts Express set. I always thought this depiction of 5972 Alton Hall was ugly, and I much prefer how she's depicted in LEGO's updated version of the Hogwarts Express, released in 2023. Elsewhere on the table, there was a double-decker bus from the LEGO City range, and I happen to own that very same bus too. It has been part of my collection since August 2024. Thus ends my coverage of Helensville Railway Station in early October 2025. I can't help thinking that the Heritage Festival as a whole could have been better, but regardless, I'm still grateful for the rare opportunity to get some cab interior shots aboard two of KiwiRail's locomotives. As a bonus, I'll leave you with some footage of AM electric multiple units near Baldwin Avenue Station, as well as DFB 7023 and the Northern Explorer approaching Island Block Road, a crossing I had never visited before. The bonus footage was recorded on my way back to Tauranga